Well, we're happy to welcome back Massachusetts Senate Minority Leader Bruce Tarr. Senator Tarr, welcome back. It's a little chilly out there as we head into May, but the sun is a little higher in the sky. There's a little more, I hope, optimism out there for everyone. So again, thank you for joining us, Senator.
Well, Rick, it's great to be with you. We've had a little bit of a hiatus, but it's great to be back. And it is a little bit chilly out there for April, I will say that.
Yeah, the wind chill is.
Yeah, hopefully that will be changing soon.
God, I know the wind chill is crazy. Senator, I know the time is pressing as it always is. You're a very busy man. I want to ask you a little bit, just a couple of questions, really. First of all, about the budget. Where is that in Massachusetts? How are things progressing or not progressing, whatever the case may be?
They're actually progressing quite well. The House finished its floor debate of its version of the budget this week. Just a couple of days ago, Rick, and the Senate will be taking up its version of the budget in May. Usually we take it up the week before Memorial Day. And so that's coming up pretty quickly. We're working on putting together the Senate version of the budget right now. There will likely be somewhere in the vicinity of 1,000 amendments, maybe a few more than that by the time it comes to the floor, but we'll sort through them in the course of a week and we'll be done. And then we will have to go to conference committee where our version of the budget will be reconciled with the House version of the budget that just passed this week. But things are going along pretty nicely. Revenues are still coming in well ahead of benchmark so that we have the resources to be able to respond to a lot of the priorities. In fact, one of the hallmarks of the House version of the budget is increased spending on education. I think you'll see the same kind of thing in the Senate version of the budget, but it's too soon to tell all the details yet.
You know, sometimes I throw a curveball at you because we like to, I don't like to, but in terms of education, is there something in the budget or in the works with respect to the mental well-being, the overall well-being of young people? Because I know the kids have been clobbered by COVID.
There's no doubt. It's absolutely one of the most pressing issues that we face. And Rick, I would argue that it's been an issue for quite a long time, but it hasn't reached the level of understanding and recognition that it has right now on Beacon Hill. So you may recall, we had discussed several weeks ago, the Senate had passed the Mental Health ABC bill, which has a lot of different mechanisms to address mental health, and particularly for youth. Things like having a searchable database, so when a child is in the emergency department, they can find a bed, the provider can find a bed, because we hear all of these stories about kids being boarded in emergency departments for 1, 2, 3 weeks, sometimes even longer. So we've got to do something about that. And in addition, that bill also makes it easier for providers to build beds by lifting the requirement that a determination of need is met. We're saying that there is a blanket determination of need. We need treatment beds for pediatric psychiatric patients. So that's in the bill as well. There's also a provision that I added to the bill that will require our entire mental health system to be reviewed every 3 years to see where our gaps are, what we can be doing to remediate those gaps and those deficiencies. So it is a huge bill. It's now in the House, and we're hoping the House will take it up soon. And then in the House version of the budget, one of the reasons for the increased funding for schools is to try to address the mental health needs that the schools have identified and are trying to deal with students. But we know that it's not just about helping the schools. There has to be a good provider system outside the schools so that when the school identifies an issue, there's a place for the student with that issue to go. So I'm pleased to tell you, Rick, that there's a lot of discussion happening about this, and we're going to be discussing in the Senate version of the budget ways that maybe we can provide some mental health supports directly to the schools as part of their day-to-day operations. So a lot of discussion right now on that subject, as well as should be.
Wonderful, wonderful. That's good to hear. All right, Senator, I guess sports betting is a big topic. You see it everywhere. There's advertisements, there's news stories. What's the latest?
So there certainly is a lot happening with sports betting, Rick. And again, the House a couple of weeks ago passed its version. It was actually more than a couple of weeks ago, I believe, passed a version of a sports betting bill. The Senate finished debating its version of that bill yesterday, last night. And basically what's happening is there had been a federal law that prohibited the states from sanctioning sports betting. About 2 years ago now, if my recollection serves correctly, there was a Supreme Court decision that ruled that law was invalid and that states could authorize sports betting. And ever since then, states have been rushing to capture this form of gaming to be able to get the revenue that it would produce for them. Massachusetts has been a little bit slow in terms of enacting this legislation. I've been consistently championing, trying to have something happen because we've been leaving money on the table. How much money? $35 to $40 million, maybe more when that industry is fully matured. So yesterday, the Senate debated a bill which created 2 different kinds of licenses, and I won't make this too complicated, but one category 1 license is one that is operated only electronically on a platform like your phone, and category 2 allows betting in a location and also with a device on an electronic platform. So category 1, electronic device only, category 2, in-person and electronic device. And it would authorize 6 of those in the instance of the category 1, and 1 per area zoning territory in the state, because we've divided ourselves up to give casino licenses. So in each one of those zones, there would be authorized a category 2 license. So the long and the short of it, Rick, is we are trying to allow Massachusetts to go into this territory where so many states have, and so many of the New England states have. And from my perspective, primarily so we don't lose money that's going to other places. I am not a huge fan of gaming. I do not participate in it, but it seems to me that we can't afford to be left out of this discussion. So the bill that passed the Senate last night passed with bipartisan support. It was done in a voice vote, which was unanimous. And now we'll have to reconcile the Senate version of the bill with the House version of the bill to get it to the governor's desk.
If I were still teaching math, you'd have to come in as a guest lecturer because I understand nothing of this. One quick follow-up. How does the state make money on this?
So we collect an excise from the revenue that's taken in by the holders of these licenses. And again, right now in the Senate version of the bill, we predict annually we'd be collecting somewhere around $35 million. So it's not insignificant. And it could even be larger than that. Part of the issue is, Rick, we don't know which direction this industry is going to go in. We don't know how many entities there'll be that'll be interested in participating. There are a lot of unknowns, but what we do know is until we have a law to sanction it and to govern it, we don't get any revenue. And that's why we're trying to move forward to get something as quickly as we can.